and we're excited today. You'll get to guess who's going to be on the show today. A fabulous, wonderful guy, the host of Power, Empower of Power. If I mispronounce that, I apologize. He's going to tell us more about that. All right, let me show you the intro and tell us who's going to be on the show. We'll see you in about 45 seconds. This is show number 5 with the wonderful Donald Cohen joining us now. Yes, the host of Hour of Empower, Mr. Don Cohen, is here. Let's go ahead and bring him in. How you doing, sir? Good afternoon. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Omar. So grateful to be with your show today. It is the Hour of Empower every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so appreciate that. And can't wait to share who I am and how people know me.
Awesome. I'm excited. Yes, today's show is going to be about, do we really know Don Cohen? We have a few people here in the audience, our friends. We have, my friend James. We also have Shaboon. Must be a friend of yours. I have no idea who that is. And let's get going. Are you ready, Mr. Don Cohen? So we can tell you.
And excited.
All right. Question 1. Here we go. Okay. What is the name of that store that you owned? You always mention it in your show. You always mention a show there that you have a store. What was the name of it?
It was Tool King.
Tool King. Nice. Mm-hmm. Did you guys sell tools?
Oh, you betcha. Lots of them.
Lots of tools. And there's Kelly. Our friend Kelly is here. All right. Let's go on to the next question. Okay. If you had to watch a sporting event, what would it be? What's your favorite sporting event?
Well, that's a great question. My best sporting event is whatever my grandkids are playing in this season, and they actually both are on the same soccer team. So I would rather watch my grandkids than watch the Denver Broncos. I make a rule. I only root for people who root for me. So, that's why it's my grandkids game.
Oh, that's awesome. So baseball, basically, right?
Soccer.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Next question. Okay, your favorite LinkedIn celebrity. I know you have a lot. Who's Don Cohen's favorite LinkedIn celebrity?
Well, it's hard to name just one.
Yeah.
But I definitely would put Kelly right up there. Again, the people I'm most excited about being around are the people who bring so much when they come around. And so I think a lot of times people look at celebrities as how many followers, what was their accomplishments, but really, who are you working with and who do you really look forward to working with? Nice to see you, Victoria. Had a great call with her the other day. Thank you. Great question, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure we all have that one particular celebrity. And yes, Victoria, glad to be here as well. A friend of yours. And awesome. Let's continue. Next question. Okay, best vacation spot.
Wow, that's a choice between a few cities. I grew up in Detroit, so it's always great to go back and see family. I spent a lot of time, about 40 different years of vacationing in Florida. My mother had a really nice place down there. Would go down there for Christmas vacation and Easter vacation. And Las Vegas has been something that's been, a lot of visits based on conferences, trade shows, and my son went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas for 5 years. So, anyways, I'd say between those three cities, I love going somewhere where I have something to do and people I know. So I think that's how I define a great vacation.
That's awesome. So basically, warm weather, having something to do, and also having somebody to see.
Yeah,
Those are the three
exactly.
items. Yeah, I think that's the same for me. Would you go anywhere cold for a vacation?
No, growing up in Detroit and actually living in Colorado, the winters you get
Yeah,
more than enough cold. I prefer water and sunshine and
water and
beach.
sunshine.
If
Exactly.
possible.
Same here. It's interesting. I'm in Phoenix and we have almost 300 days of sun, right? And I have a neighbor who moved from San Diego. He's telling me that we have about 100 days of sunlight because it's always cloudy next to the beach, right? And he loves it here. A lot of people are moving. So the West is the best place, I think.
Oh, for sure, and it's dry, which is
Oh,
nice.
yeah, absolutely. Good day. And is this a good friend of yours? I don't know who this is, but
No, it's a new
good to have
face,
you
and
here.
I'm always happy to see new faces and connect with people. So, love the opportunity of expanding one's reach.
Absolutely. Perfect. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go to the next question. Let's
For
go.
sure.
All right. Next question is, if I got a first class ticket, I would fly. Where would you fly? If today somebody called you and said, Donald, you have a first class ticket, where would you go tonight? Pack your bags.
Well, I would probably go somewhere further than closer by
Yeah.
being able to sit on the first class section and be more comfortable. I would probably go to Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. My son's out there, and he's a major lacrosse coach at this point. So, yeah, again, family is really what makes the trip worthwhile, and everything else is gravy.
Exactly. I agree with you. Right. I mean, let's say you have a family member who's living somewhere in a different country. You wouldn't vacation, you would go to see them. So I
Hmm.
agree with you, right? I mean, why would you travel to India or China unless you want to see what they have, unless you have family there? So I agree with you. Yeah. Family is number one. Absolutely. All right. Good question. You passed that one, Donald. Let's go to the next
Oh,
one.
well, I can't wait for the next one then.
All right. Let's go. Okay. Okay, what is your hat size? I know you always wear a hat. We want
Yeah,
to know what is
you
Donald's
know,
hat size?
my subject on today's show is authentic. I
Yeah,
honestly don't know. Uh, Usually, it's just somewhere where I could try one on. I could be a 7, or if that's a size.
yeah,
But usually, whatever fits. And I don't put a lot of time and thought into the hats.
yeah,
Uh, but I did find it to be a nice compliment
yeah.
to the show. And even we talked about that today with Harvey and Kelly, and it gives you another 2, 3 inches of height that you
Yes,
didn't have before that. So it does make you a little bit bigger.
it does. Absolutely, it's nice.
What
Follow
what
up
is
question.
what is your hat size? Do you know?
I have no idea. I mean, I have a hat over here. I can go ahead and grab it and see if it does have a number in it. So I am grabbing it right now. But I mean, I typically what I do is I just wear any hat that fits. This particular one doesn't have one. Well, I mean, a follow up question is I've heard how people measure their hat size. They use that measurement tool and all that.
Hmm.
But that's something I want to look into and see how they actually measure their hat size. Some people say take 2 times pi divided by a number. But there's a formula that's actually implemented in that, which I had no idea. And I was watching a game show years ago. The question was actually asking, how do people figure out their hat size? I don't remember what the answer was, right? This was back when Regis was doing the show. And it's interesting. I'm going to research that later and maybe message you. But there's actually a formula that goes behind it. I'm sure engineers came up with it of how your hat size is determined.
Yeah, well, I guess Googling it might help too. So I guess one could journey through that and figure it out. But I think whatever fits, whatever you're comfortable with. And,
Yeah.
to that point, Denver has 312 days of sunshine. So
Oh,
a
wow.
hat becomes valuable when you're out in the sun quite a bit too. So I think there's some
Yeah.
practical benefit to it.
Absolutely. Whatever you wear, we love it. We love the hats that Don wears. It's a trend now, right? Everybody's going to be wearing it. And we love those hats. There's Harvey. Oh, he was on your show this morning. He did great. Okay. He has another great comment here. Okay. Just put it on your head and see if it fits. Exactly. Let's go there. I know Harvey also. Harvey, what is your hat size, by the way? Do you know it? You're watching. Anybody who knows their hat size? In the audience, go and give us your hat size. If you know, we want to know your hat size. And then, as an experiment, maybe use a tape measure, measure your head size, and see if it fits or there's a formula there. Maybe we can get some answers from you guys. I'll give you guys about 24 hours or so. So that's a good exercise there. Awesome. All right. Next question, Mr. Donald. Are you ready?
You bet.
All right. Let's see here. All right. Do you enjoy fishing? And what type of fish do you fish for? Are you a fisherman?
Well, I haven't done very much fishing.
Yeah.
Growing up, we had a small aluminum boat with a little motor on it.
Oh,
And
okay.
we used to take it out in the Detroit River, actually, which is the river between Canada and US. It's only a mile long between that. And actually, at that point, Canada is actually south of the US at a certain point, which
Correct.
most people don't know. And my last experience is I was on a tour of a company's factory in Atlanta, and they gave everybody who showed up an opportunity to go fishing with a professional guide and boat, and got your licenses and everything else. And I didn't catch much, but I sure enjoyed being on the water, especially when the sun was coming up, and just that benefit. So yeah, I wouldn't come to my house expecting me to catch you a fish and cook it, but I can tell you stories about fishing maybe.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, it's all the experience, not so much the catch.
That's awesome. Do you remember the type of fish when you used to do that? Is there any?
Well, there was bass mostly. In Michigan, there was a lot of lake fish. So you get like, a mackerel, or you'd get perch, all those lake fishes. And then actually one time went fishing in the ocean outside of Florida, and that was fun. And actually caught a dolphin fish, not a dolphin, but a
Yeah,
fish called a dolphin.
exactly. Wow.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's just the fun of being out in the water, being on a boat, having a good
It
time.
is.
Other
I
than
know there's a time when I lived in Arkansas, and they have a lot of catfish over there, right? We would grab those, and we'd go fishing when I was younger, and it was a lot of fun. Fishing is a sport, but it can be tense or boring sometimes because you're waiting there for hours, and then you hear a bite, you pick it up, it turns out to be a rock or seaweed. And it's like go that kind of so. But yeah, fishing. It's been a while. I mean, Arizona. There are some parts that do fishing, but we're all busy working, and we went to school after really college. You kind of focus on your studies and work, and then you forget about that free time. But you really need that weekend because we only have those 2 days. When you're younger in high school, you just do your studies, you do your homework for 3 4 hours, and the evening you can do whatever you want, video games, go out with your friends. But when you're adults and you're working, it's like that time is limited,
hmm
with your kids or whatever you have. And then, but you really need to figure out a vacation time and go and do fishing and stuff like that. So it's definitely a sport that people don't do, and it's a isn't it one of the sports that they do on TV? It's like a major sporting event, right? Fishing is right.
Oh, you bet. There's a lot of money and a lot of competition to it. Um, but it's like anything else. You got to know what you're doing to be at that level.
Exactly. So let's go with Kelly here. The only day Don took off, you took a day off and you went fishing, didn't you, sir?
That's funny Kelly says that. I put, because I have a 7-day schedule,
Yeah.
and that day I said gone fishing. It actually was to see my grandkids' soccer game because I promised I would show up. Plus, I was never into like having to do something because I've been doing it for so long. So by taking the day off, kind of separated everything. And I think what it does say is it's good to go fishing once in a while. And fishing could be different things to different people, but taking a break from what you're doing. And I think to your point with the vacations and with the first class air travel, it all, says that to enjoy where you're at, you got to get away from it once in a while. So when you come back to it, you have a little bit more context, and you become more of a person than part of something. You come back to yourself. So I think, fishing is a great reflective, relaxing activity. And I encourage other people to do more of it.
Exactly. I agree with you. Definitely. Our friend Ashif is here. Happy October. Yes, it's October. It's so you might be the fifth guest, Donald, but you're the first guest in October. So if you can think of it that way, you're number one in October. So
Yeah,
nobody
well,
can
I
do that.
love October. October has always been a good month for me. So,
It is. It is. But my dad's birthday is in 2 days, so October is definitely good. Which is funny. Like my dad's birthday is in October, my birthday is in November, my mom's birthday is in December, and then my sister and her husband are in July. So it's right, and it breaks up. It's great. So, all right, and then Harvey, our friend Harvey here, he's saying, "What I love about fishing is the company." Exactly, Gone Fishing. There was a movie too, right? Gone Fishing with Joe Pesci. That was a good movie in the '90s, I think. It's about friendship. Yeah, I know it's a good, quiet game. It's not too loud. It's not too distracting. Like if you're playing basketball or soccer, right? You're focused on the game, right? But fishing, you can just go there, put the net, and put the reel in there, and wait for the fish to come out. And then you can talk, chat, have dinner, have coffee, tea, whatever, while you wait for the fish. So it's really an interesting one. So awesome. All right, we're almost there. Let's go to the next question. Question nine, question eight, I believe. Yes. Okay. Furthest place traveled on Earth. That kind of related to the other one, but where's the furthest place you ever traveled? Have you been also outside of the states? If so, where?
oh, absolutely. The first, I'm sure, was Bangkok,
Hmm.
which was quite a flight, I think about 18 hours, and also went to visit Hong Kong,
Okay.
which are two definitely different countries and cultures. And, Bangkok and Thailand was so kind of spiritual in a way and humble. And then Hong Kong was just unbelievably wealthy. And, it was the time, it's kind of funny when you're traveling 18 hours somewhere, it's hard to even look at your watch for a long time because it really doesn't matter how long you've been traveling, it's how much more you travel. But, I think when you go to different places, especially far away places, you tend to appreciate a lot more of where you come from at times and also know what the possibilities that you could integrate into your life that you learn from other cultures and people. And I found it really entertaining and educational and rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. Do you agree that everybody should probably travel and go to someplace new? And I think in that case, they can learn about each other's cultures. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, the people, when I was on that and it was a group, one of our manufacturers would always have these special trips, and they were all first class, five diamond, everything was coordinated. I mean, unbelievable parties. Actually, the party in the Bangkok trip, uh, everybody, the announcement was make sure you bring your wives tonight. And I didn't understand what they were talking about, but we were together and why.
Yeah.
And what they did is they actually put all these some very valuable gemstones in ice cubes.
Uh
And
huh.
then every lady would get a drink with an ice cube with a gemstone in it.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and then they had a gemologist who would examine your stone and tell you what you had. And
Interesting.
oh
Wow.
yeah, some people got diamonds and emeralds and sapphires. I think we got a beautiful looking stone, but not very valuable. Amethyst, I think we ended up with. But it was just fascinating. And they said to everybody, don't drink your drink until you get the ice cube out of it. Yeah, I think, the more you see of something different, it could be even going to the next town and seeing something different. I remember when, I met my wife, and as we got to know each other better, I went back to her old town or her hometown where her family was from. And this was a one stoplight town, and you could drive through it, never know you were there. But it was so slow, everything, and so normal versus coming from Detroit where the traffic and everything was different. And it really gave me context. And I think that's what traveling can do, is give you a reference point, and you get better for the more experiences and the more people you can relate to.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely, Don. Yeah, I mean, everybody has to take a trip somewhere. It's somewhere different, and check out Europe, check out Asia, check out someplace in the Middle East, and all the stuff you hear on TV and stuff like that is always never the same, and check out, and it's always wonderful to go out and meet people. So great. We have the person here who's interested with the ice that you mentioned, gems on ice. So that's a nice comment there. Okay, next question. Here we go. I believe this is the last question here. Okay, if I would invent an item to help mankind, what would it be? What would you create? It could be an item. People in the past have said they would create uh, community, love. They would create some stuff to have that. That's what Rita had said on the last show. What would you like to invent or create to help mankind?
Well, that's a great question. And I would go with what I'm in the process of developing and inventing, which is getting more people to have their own LinkedIn live shows, to really give them a voice and get themselves seen in the most authentic way they can. Because, we're at a very, very important place. Just where we're talking right now is really an anomaly to most people on LinkedIn. Most people are LinkedIn commenting, posting, but really getting in front of a lot of people in the most time cost efficient way. And anything I would invent would have to be, the primary goal is helping others help themselves to help others, right? And really getting that peer to peer ripple effect going. And it makes all the difference when you can control your communication. And also, I think, in addition to that, build your community. And I can see just from the right side that, where you bring people in is where they can also help take you, and vice versa. So I have having more leverage on the existing power that most people don't know they really have, and can be, released in the most wonderful way.
Exactly. That's good words. Absolutely. And we really like to thank you because you're the one who actually introduced us to the LinkedIn Live. When I came to your show and learned about you back in February or so and March, I had no idea that this kind of world existed there. And it's great because you're branching people. And also a shout out to Matt Allen. Like he does a lot of good stuff with Kudos. Fabulous guy. He likes everybody. He tries to integrate with everybody and talk to them and be able to get this community together. And so, because of that, it's a good way to get to know each other from people all around the world, right? And your show is a good example. You started, and we're all following it, right? You, Harvey, Kelly, all these people are having their own shows now, and it's an opening world. I actually had a talk with somebody on another platform, and I was talking to him about LinkedIn, and he had no idea LinkedIn does these audio events and video events, and they're all surprised and they're like, "Oh, really? This is what happened." So I showed him your profile, and he looked at it and he followed and all that, and then he's looking through it. I'm like, "Yeah, this happens. People interact, people talk to each other, and it's great that I was not aware of this, and this is a good way, I think, for the communities for the future, for people to get to know each other more, be able to collaborate, as you mentioned, Don. What do you think?
Well, I think that's terrific. And I also want to add Rita Wirtz, because Rita introduced us, and they actually just introduced myself to a few other people, which is great. And that's the little things that people do because they want to reward both individuals, right? And there's no real vested interest for themselves, but me and you connecting, and then me and you having that first LinkedIn Live, and now me coming full circle and doing your LinkedIn Live. We're just way ahead of the curve, and now's the great time to polish and sharpen your skill sets and really be there when the masses start to show up. So, it's windows of opportunity sometimes are very small and they close very fast. And once you can grab onto something, that can give you the stairway to everything you hope to be and never knew how you could get there.
Exactly, absolutely. We're almost closing the show now. How can people find you? I know you do your show every day at 9 Mountain Standard Time, 8 Pacific. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Power of Empower. Is that the name?
Hour of Empower.
Hour of Empower. I
We'll get
remember.
it.
Hour of Empower. I was on the show. I should remember. Hour of Empower.
Yeah, well, they can every day, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 7 days a week. I've been doing it for about a year straight. And you can always visit my profile and get to know me that way. You can visit my website, doncohenconsulting.com. I'm always open to meeting, greeting new people, and really working together to help everybody. And I think value is what you want to always bring, and always bring more than people expect that you will. And then you'll get top of mind awareness. And I think, in conclusion, it's really be known before you're needed. Get yourself out there for who you are, what you do, but in the way you serve other people, not the way you self promote yourself. And I mentioned on the show, be interested, not interesting. And I think that changes the dynamic of communication and relationships.
Exactly. I agree with you. Definitely. I'm going to go ahead and put you in the waiting room and we'll do some closing thoughts and then we'll be back with you shortly, Don. Thank you so much for your closing thoughts on that. You're awesome. And we look forward to having more of watching your Hour of Empower shows on weekday mornings. So let me go ahead and put you in there, close out the great show from Harvey. We also have Mary, a good friend of yours. Thank you, Omar, for your presence here. And then also Kelly, great conversation. So I'll put you in the waiting room, but we'll talk in a second, Mr. Don. All right.
Sounds
All right. And then that was our friend, Mr. Don, the host of Power of Empower. He's been doing for almost a year, as he said. Great conversation to get to know him better and get to connect with him. He's a great person. He's the one who actually inspired me to do the show, like he inspired other people. He has a lot of wisdom behind him and look forward to the next week's show. We have TJ Hogg from Michigan, a good friend of mine. He's been waiting for several weeks to be on the show, and that's exciting. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Have a good October, and we will talk to you guys next Sunday. Look forward for my new show, the season 4 of Zumberly. They'll be uploaded on the channel pretty soon. We're in tapings right now for them. Have a good evening and take care. Bye bye.